Hi, I'm Eli Tan, and this is where unspoken words find their voice. You were always there, Mother, but somehow I could never reach you. I remember the sound of your footsteps, quick, firm, certain, echoing through the narrow hallway of our old home. You always moved, as if the world would collapse if you stopped. I wanted to run after you, but somehow my feet stayed still. I used to think you didn't love me enough. Now I wonder if you simply didn't know how to show it. The house was never truly quiet, yet it always felt empty. You would wake up before dawn, your hands already busy with pots and pans, with the rhythm of a woman who carried the world on her back. I would lie there, eyes half open, listening to the sound of you living without ever really living with me. When you called my name, it wasn't out of affection, it was a command. Hurry up, eat your breakfast, don't be late. Every word from you sounded like an instruction manual for survival. I wanted to tell you about the drawings I made, the stories I wrote, the silly things I dreamed of, but you never asked. So, I stopped sharing. Dinner was the same silence wrapped in noise, the clinking of spoons, the hum of the ceiling fan, the faint crackle of a radio in another room. You sat at the end of the table, your eyes tired, your fingers still restless. Sometimes, I'd glance at you, wondering if you ever noticed how much I wanted to be seen. But you never looked up, and I convinced myself that love had to be earned through obedience, through perfection, through silence. Those years taught me how to speak less, how to hide pain behind polite smiles, how to become invisible because maybe that's the only way to be loved by someone who never knew softness. I still remember that afternoon. The rain came without warning. It was the kind of rain that makes everything sound like a confession. I had just come home from school, holding my report card like a fragile piece of pride. I was the top of my class. Again. I thought you'd smile this time. Maybe even say, I'm proud of you. You were in the kitchen, as always. The smell of boiled vegetables and detergent mixed into something strangely familiar, like home and exhaustion combined. Mom, I said, standing by the doorway. I got first place. You didn't turn around. Good, you said. Don't forget to wash your hands before dinner. That was it. That was the whole celebration. I remember nodding, pretending not to care. I remember eating dinner quietly, pretending the rice didn't taste like tears. That night, I looked in the mirror and made a promise to myself. Don't expect anything anymore. It wasn't anger. It was surrender. Quiet, invisible, but permanent. From that day, I stopped bringing home my drawings, my stories, my laughter. I learned how to smile at people without letting it reach my eyes. I became the child every parent would want: polite, quiet, obedient. Except I wasn't living. I was performing, and you applauded that performance every day, never realizing it wasn't me you were clapping for. It was the mask I built to make you proud. Years passed quietly, the way dust gathers on a shelf unnoticed, yet heavy. I grew taller. My voice changed. My world expanded beyond the walls of our home. But between us, nothing changed. You were still the same: busy, distant, unreachable, and I was still the same: silent, careful, waiting for a moment that never came. Sometimes, I rehearsed conversations with you in my head. Mom, I'm tired. Mom, I'm scared. Mom, can you just listen? But I never spoke those words, because somewhere deep down, I already knew how the silence would answer. In high school, when I stayed up late studying, I could hear you moving around in the kitchen. I thought maybe, just maybe, you'd come check on me. But the footsteps stopped at the door and then turned away. It's strange, isn't it? How love can exist without words and yet feel like it never existed at all. There were so many things I wanted to tell you, but by then, I had learned a cruel truth. When silence becomes a language, even the loudest cry sounds like nothing. So I buried my words under my studies, under my achievements, under the smile everyone believed was happiness. And you seemed proud. I guess we both got what we wanted. You had a perfect child, and I had the perfect mask. The morning I left home, the air was still. No birds, no sound, just the quiet hum of dawn. You were in the kitchen, as always, your back turned to me. I remember watching the steam rise from your cup of coffee. It looked like a ghost, fading into the air, just like the words I would never say. "I'll call you," I said. You nodded, still not turning around. "Don't forget your jacket," you replied. That was it. No hug, no goodbye, no "I love you." Just the sound of the door clicking behind me, and the echo of everything we never became. The world outside was loud, full of people chasing dreams, laughter, noise. But inside me, it was still, that same quiet house. Sometimes I wonder if you felt it too. That strange emptiness when someone leaves, not because they have to, but because staying hurts too much. I tried to build a life. I tried to forget. But memory has a cruel way of finding you. In the smell of coffee, in the sound of rain, in the reflection of someone's eyes who doesn't know your story. Years later, people asked me about home. I smiled and said, "It's complicated." But what I really meant was, I once had a house, but I never had a home. The first time I missed you, it surprised me. I was in a small apartment, cold walls, cheap furniture, city lights that didn't care who I was. It was raining outside, the kind of rain that sounds like a heartbeat against the window. I made instant noodles for dinner, and when I sat down, I realized I had cooked too much. For a second, I almost called out your name, just to say, "Dinner's ready." But there was only silence. And that silence, it felt exactly like home. I thought I had escaped everything: the quiet, the distance, the feeling of being unseen. But it followed me, like a shadow that refused to fade. I remembered your hands always moving, always working. I remembered the sound of your sewing machine at midnight, the soft click of your wedding ring against the teacup. Things I thought I had forgotten suddenly came rushing back, and they hurt more than I expected. I realized then, I never really hated you. I just didn't understand you. You loved in silence, and I kept waiting for words. Maybe that's where we lost each other. That night, I sat by the window, watching the rain blur the city lights, and whispered the words I could never say. "Mom, I miss you." I don't remember what made me pick up the phone that night. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the rain again, the same kind that once fell on our old roof. I scrolled through my contacts, and there it was, your name. Mom. Just 3 letters. And yet, my hands started shaking. I hadn't called you in years. We exchanged texts, sometimes short, safe messages. "Did you eat?" "Yes." "Take care." Like strangers who once shared the same blood. That night, I wanted to hear your voice again, to say something, anything. But the truth is, I didn't know what to say. Would I tell you I was sorry? Would I tell you I missed you? Or would I just cry and let the silence finish the story for us? My thumb hovered over the call button. The phone's screen glowed softly in the dark, like a heartbeat waiting for courage. And for one long moment, I almost pressed it. But then, fear came, not of rejection, but of being heard too late. So I put the phone down. The screen dimmed. The silence returned. And I told myself, tomorrow, But tomorrow never came. It was a Tuesday. Ordinary. Unremarkable. The kind of day you don't expect to remember for the rest of your life. I was at work, halfway through my second cup of coffee, when my phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. I almost didn't pick up, but something told me to. A quiet voice spoke on the other end, hesitant, careful. Is this Mrs. Tran's daughter? And just like that, the world stopped. I don't remember the rest. Just words broken, distant, meaningless. Hospital, sudden. She didn't make it. My hands went cold. My heart heavy, but hollow. I didn't cry at first. Maybe I couldn't. I just sat there, staring at nothing, while the world around me kept moving. Emails, traffic, laughter, deadlines, and in that noise, I finally understood how loud silence can be. The next thing I remember is standing in front of a hospital bed, white sheets, pale light, and you still, peaceful, almost smiling. I wanted to scream, to shake you, to tell you I called, that I almost called. But all I could whisper was, Mom, I'm sorry I waited too long. I touched your hand, still warm, but fading. And for the first time in my life, I realized that silence wasn't empty. It was full of everything we never said. I never got to tell you the things that mattered. I never said thank you for the quiet sacrifices, for every meal I never noticed, for every night you stayed up waiting for me to come home safe. I never said I'm sorry for every slammed door, every angry word, every moment I thought I knew better than you. I never said I love you. Not once. Not out loud. I thought there would always be time. But time is cruel, Mom. It steals the words you never speak. So tonight, I'm writing them here. Not for anyone to read, but for you. Wherever you are, thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. I wish I could go back to that morning when the coffee steamed in your cup, when the light hit your hair, and say the things I swallowed for years. I wish I could have told you that I saw you, that even in your silence, I knew you were trying. You weren't perfect, Mom, but neither was I. And maybe that's what love really is. Two people doing their best and still missing each other in the middle. If you can hear me, I just want you to know I finally understand. You didn't need to say, I love you. You showed it every single day. I never thought I'd finish this letter. For so long, I wrote and erased, afraid that once I sent it, you'd be gone for real. But tonight, the wind feels different. It's calm, like even the world is ready to let you rest. I folded the paper carefully, slid it into an envelope, and sealed it with trembling fingers. Your name looks so soft in ink, like it's afraid of being forgotten. I walked to the old bridge, the one that still remembers our footsteps. The sky was gray, the kind that carries both rain and light. I held the letter to my chest and whispered, I'm ready now, Mom. The wind caught it gently, carried it upward, like wings. I watched it disappear into the sky until I couldn't tell if it was gone or finally home. And for the first time in years, I didn't cry. I smiled because I realized something. You were never really gone. You live in the way I boil water for tea, in the way I fold my sleeves, in every small thing I once ignored. You live in the warmth I try to give others. Maybe love isn't about holding on. Maybe it's about learning to keep someone's light, even after they're gone. So here's my last letter, Mom. Not to say goodbye, but to say thank you for teaching me how to stay, even when you couldn't. Wherever you are, I hope the sky is as gentle as your hands once were. I'll be okay now.